finally empty something unknown is waiting for us here, so let's have a look. A formidable looking door blocks the way into the next module. It is covered in scratches as if someone clawed at the cold metal for a very, very long time. The door does not respond to your touch, it stands fast, refusing to open. The writing above the doorways reads, Main Computing Cathedral. The tech priest blessed himself with a protective symbol, his hand visibly shaken. Shield us, O Machine God, from the evil that has taken hold of your temple. Save us, preserve us from the corruption, show us the way. The sacred metal that bars our path is weakened. Let us appeal to the machine spirit of one of the generators so that the metal may drink from the blessed energies. There should be one hidden somewhere in the module. What is this evil you mentioned? Teplis says nothing for a while, then his voice comes to life, but the voice is hoarse, punctuated by static and interference. The Omniscia knows all, comprehends all. I am merely his servant. I cannot discern what has stricken the abode of the machine god, but I do sense a distortion of the structure, disfigurement on the molecular order. This ship is sick. Further conversing is unproductive. The wall of the Omniscia has brought us to the doors. Thus, our task is clear. Search for a way to proceed beyond so we can discover a means of cleansing these halls. So let's inspect it. The door and the entire adjacent section at the bay have no power. There must be a backup generator somewhere nearby. Once you turn it on, you should be able to proceed. Okay, restore power then. Because we already done that.
Marching on.
The air in this room is permeated by a wild mixture of miasmas in both mechanical and biological origin. Blood, rust, vomit, machine oil, excrements, kerosene, all these smells blend together into such a thick stench that it almost feels palpable. Just as the air here is one mad tangle of odors, the device in front of you is a mishmash of wriggling wires and transpired fragments. In all the clutter, one could almost miss the main component, a heavily augmented man whose upper body is embedded into the frame of the machine, dozens of wires piercing his flesh. A crust of congealed blood and other bodily fluids cover the man's entire body, but his eyes are open and his gaze is keen. This gaze is turned on you, devoid of surprise or defense. Who are you, disturbing the peace of the holy martyrs in the home of our grief? What do you want? The symbols you brotherly protect themselves with are the symbols of chaos. Your knowledge is lacking, Invader. Those are secret holy symbols, impelled to us by Brionisha. How else would my comrades have survived if not for the protection? So many of us were devoured by evil. He falls silent as he lost his thought. Who are you? A servant of Omniscia, an acolyte of the machine, a prisoner of purgatory, a keeper of corruption. The man whispers via the implanted vox. Every word or motion causes his crippled body to shudder. Bloody foam glints from inside the wire-pierced wounds. What happened to your ship? Ship? There is no ship. There is only purgatory, a world made of evil, made to harrow and torture those who follow the Omniscia. It has already killed many of my brethren, but those who remain are strong, so very strong. We will keep the corruption of the machine at bay. I will hold back. I have accepted the higher calling, the only one among my brethren to do so, as they keep the evil at bay with prayers and sacred symbols engraved on the tradition's traitorous flesh. I take this evil inside myself. I imbibe it as one does water, but it can but it can do me no harm, for I am the Eye of Sanctity. I am the sacred filter, the link that protects other parts of the machine from the caustic taint, and for as long as I remain here, the corruption will not prevail. This testament is false. I am registering corruption in this unit identical to the surrounding us. I am registering a violation of the cleansing protocol, which dictates steering the ship into the heart of the nearest star for the purpose of cleansing annihilation. I am registering betrayal of the sacred machine spirit placed in charge of those weak in faith. The man looks at his comrade and replies with a long series of clicks in Technolingua. Permission to use the sacred language has been revoked. Impurity will not be permitted to enter the pure speech of Binharek. Your mortal shell will soon exhaust its vital energies. Pray mutely while you still have time. There is no fate more honorable than purgation through suffering in the name of faith. But you were deceived, servant of the Omnisha. Your torment is not holding back the corruption, it is sustaining it. It is not too late to expel this blight. The man's eyes clear for a moment. They still lack understanding, but there is a hint of surprise. He slowly looks around the room, at the ecstatic priests, at his own mangled body. His voice hisses as if he is struggling to say something. Suddenly, the mingled stretch in the room is drowned out by the sharp, piercing smell of ozone and grease. You sense that the nauseating atmosphere that prevailed in the room has condensed into a single point of evil in the depths of the ship, and is now hurling towards you.
At your beck and call. I will do like that. That is secondary strike. At your beck and call. Indeed.
I'm not accustomed to being ordered around. Isn't this a job for the serfs?
Battle-tested tactics are the best ones. It will be done. I will do my duty. Grey hair, sure hair.
Vengeance will be swift.
At your beck and call.
I am a navigator. Try to die with grace, at least. Don't frighten me. Me? If you insist, Lord Captain.
Indeed. I've suffered.
I'm a leader.
Just a minor setback.
The enemies of the Emperor will be undone! Faith without deeds is worthless.
Up in our ranks.
The cold embrace of death. Our Emperor, deliver us.
We're at a tactical disadvantage.
Activate calculus fury algorithm. The scriptural proof is
Now, revert to more conservative tactics.
the flesh betrays me.
I'll be back. In no time. Another loss to the retinue.
I won't object. I'm done with this one. Naturally. Let's see to it.
cross my gaze. As duty demands.
Only in death does duty end. But of course, Lord Captain.
Emperor, give me strength. Try to die with grace, at least. I'm not accustomed to being ordered around.
Let's see to it. For the throne's glory. I can make it.
Running by Nerek unafraid. The Omnissiah condemns you. The Omnissiah knows all, comprehends all.
Let's see to it. Not sanctioned to do this. Naturally. But of course, Lord Captain.
Battlefields are always drowned in scarlet.
For the throne's nothing stands against me.
I'm amended.
Be gone.
Some people died, but survived. The man's mutilated body is wrecked by the wave after wave of convulsion. Evil, that was evil incarnate. Evil, the corruption that wretched us the day and night. Suddenly the man raises his head and looks straight you in the eye. You have banished the evil. You tried to warn me, but I was deaf. The ship, Kiavagama, it followed us from there. Kiavagama, is that where your ship is from? Yes, the man whispers. The ship and the planet, the traitors among the brethren, tormenting the sacred mechanisms, letting corruption into the system. They turn that which is holy into the unholy, and they set those new twisters machine on us. They tech comrades. We managed to flee, but one of the monsters found its way onto the ship. A tear appeared on the corner of his eye. He thrashes functionally in the mass of wires piercing his body. We thought we cut off the module after another, as one cuts away rotten flesh, but it followed. Its invisible influence, the corruption, is exuded. He claimed us one by one. The crew were merely humans of flesh and blood. They were so weak. They succumbed so easily. We could not save them from evil, and so we gave the ship to the darkness among the stars. But the darkness came for us too. In this last module, where we tended to make our last stand, then I sacrificed myself. I became a filter, a stopper against the corruption emanating from the machine. I succumbed. The corruption came for us, for our souls. The corruption of Kiavagama, traitors. With the last of his efforts, he gasps. The fabricator censor, it all started with him. He was the one who let this taint into the sacred code. He was the one who doomed our brethren. He was the one who sprawled the steel monstrousness in the future of our planet. You have succumbed to the chaos and paid for your weakness. Weakness, the flesh is weak, the spirit must be stronger. The spirit reaches out to the machine, too. The madman whispers, gradually turning to wheezings, and stops. Where's my cute kitty? Chew. The Bastion, yeah? An empty shell of Demon Engine, it was a creation of horrifying mix of real space technology and the deranged power of the warp that disturbed this ship's system and twisted the tech priest's minds. It's fine, it's fine. Ow. Oh, you don't have to be so high. Do ya? Why you want to sit in my head? Do you want to sit in my head? Don't just sit in my handbag. flow still. But it's heavy though. It's heavy.
I'll chart a course for you.
Happy. So we discovered burning world, and we discovered this void ship. And you know what's fun? That everything is gone. So 2568. Not worth it. Okay, it's medium, so just 2 people I've got. So say no. So 25, 70, 60. Party. To cargo. Start to cargo. Got there's a world. I have seen planet burns once before. Cars, magma, Extenco's hub was invoked. Incendiary cyclonic torpedoes were deployed. The world burned for several moments until there was nothing but ash. That's burning world. Just a desert world. Plasma batteries, nice. Just go. Okay, we've done this one. Ah, ow! Okay, let's take that. Some provision we found, very nice. Do you want to set up extractor to start production of provision? Accept. So I think we've got everything here. Discovered, 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 discovered. Okay. No more scrap now. Okay. Let's go to the next one. So we've got Sota, Varius. That's where I come from. So then I have to go jump back here. I've got
The skeins of fate can lead us to victory.
Good. Three.
Reporting hull breaches. Executing damage control.
Yeah. It's gonna be a struggle, isn't it? No, it'll be fun on those fights, to be fair.
Voidsmen, find your courage!
Ah, for fuck's sake. Should have saved this. So close. How fucking annoying. natural accumulation of irregularities on the solid planet surface has been detected. Probability of occurrence of natural materials high.
Finally, some real action.
Missed it. Annoying.
pale before our mastery of the void.
Monastery of the Order of the Hammer. Lord Captain, we have received a transmission from Foulstone. It was sent by members of the Order of the Hammer, votaries of Saint Cognatius, whose monastery is the only settlement on the planet. Or rather, it used to be. Some time ago, a transport vessel, the Navica, unloaded several thousand refugees from the planet belonging to the rock trader Winterscale. The Order of the Hammer has judged this invasion to be an act of aggression and is asking for your lordship protection. We will not abandon people of faith in distress. Prepare the landing party and my shuttle. I'm taking the monastery under my protection. As you please, lordship. Sixscore and 11 days after the feast of the passing of Nikomen Skefi, the champion of faith, disquietude marred with calm of the monastery of the Order of the Hammer. Countless tortured souls, steeped in fear, arrived on Foulstone in a star barrack. A great apostasy had befallen their home and turned them into abject wanderers seeking help and refuge. The wicked and cruel captain, the owner of the Navica, had betrayed them. Once the unknowing soul in his care had made landfall on the world's surface, he most deviously recalled his shuttles and left, thus ridding himself of duty of care to their unfortunate lot. Not knowing how they would survive in Foulstone's grim wastelands, the Forsaken people came to a monastery of St. Cognatius, and there they surrounded its walls. They hammered their fists on its gate and implored and wailed, "Take us in, protect us!" And what once have a place of serenity and grace was now fully of din, disorder, and all manner of things despicable. The interlopers brought with them worldly futility and strife, and mayhap also the seeds of alluring blasphemies, if friendly heathens lurked in the midst. After a prayer, a prelate Hartractius turned his eye to the past in search of instruction. Prelate Hartractius recalled the first missionaries to set foot on Foulstone vast wastelands, led by their zeal for serving Saint Cognitus, and those missionaries had received the blessing of Nicomedes Kiphe, the champion of faith who had travelled with them in the starred barrack to found in this place a humble and pure abode, whereas they cultivate wisdom and piety. Okay, got ya. So, and Saint Cognatius, a man of great endeavours, a warrior and a wise artificer, never cowered behind the walls of Librarium, but stepped bravely into the darkness, carrying light in the palm of his hand. And he commanded the others to the same, and not only Fauston, but many other worlds of the Corinth's expanse bear its imprint. And Prelate Hactarius did welcome the interlopers warmly as his guests, but he did warn his brethren to keep their vigilance. The brethren and sisters of the Order of the Hammer came forth to meet the strangers, carrying water and protect victuals and medical herbs and jars and promethium. But the crowd came to blows over winds and blood was spilled, and many were trampled and mauled in the stampede, some of them dwellers of the monastery. Then the warriors of the Order of the Hammer donned their flung cowls, inscribed words of praise of the God Emperor on the tactical visors, and went forth, ready to render service in battle. With lasguns and bolters they pierced the interlopers, with their chainsaws and power flails they struck them, and a great and bloody harvest was repeated that day. But the interlopers too scanned through their armaments, was and scattered their skill in battle, slew many among the monastery's dwellers, for great were their numbers and greater their desperation. The monks fled beyond the walls and rang the vox alarum and shut the gates and commanded the armed guards to keep watch over the gates, slaying any who approached. A quarrel broke out. A hungry and sickly lay siege to the monastery, begging for help. In this spite, they blocked the water collection and unpowered the generatorium. The faithful, in the meantime, they were ready to resist. And a miracle came to pass. Our God Emperor sent his champion, his confidant, his right hand, the rock trader of the blessed house von Valentis. May the light of his grace remain upon it forever. The blessed rock trader commanded his formidable boarding force to fall upon the interlopers and slay as many as could be slain. And there was a great battle, and the accursed miscreants lost their lives in a great number. The rest fled swiftly to the wasteland, there to hide in fear. And Prelate Hectarius sent a vox transmission to the rock trader beseeching, "Destroy us not, but extend a hand of protection over us, and these wicked people will return to exact their vengeance." The most excited rock trader gaze over Falstone expanse and quote, "Now it's mine." And the faithful rejoice, and henceforth they would have an unwavering and mighty guardian, and they proclaimed it for all to hear. Singing hymns of glory, they unseated the airlock and opened the abode gates, for a great endeavor in a glorious name of the rock trader awaited them. Falston was to lead to prosperity and faith to triumph. After a prayer, the architects set to work. In accordance with the saint's teaching and the parameters set forth in the standard template construct, they erected spacious living quarters and sturdy fourth walls for the planetary militia, and a spacious auditorium wherein to trade and store goods, and a proved sensorium with whose walls clerk and salvo bondsmen would maintain order and keep statistical records. And a new yet righteous way of life came to Foulstone, and the people rejoiced, and all was good. Okay, a celestial protector No one in the entire Colossus expanse will make a worthy guardian of the Sanctuary of Faith than the head of House von Valentius. A marvelous basilica will be erected in the honor of the world's capital city. It will be decorated with a grand twin statue of the Emperor and the robe trader. Thousands of parishioners and priests will say his name in a daily praise and bring him reverent gifts. Okay. So if I go to from here. Oh my god, this next one. The ruins of an ancient imperial city were discovered on a dead world completely deprived of an ecosystem. According to the reports, the entire settlement is contained in a titanic glass dome that once held an artifact atmosphere. Your Augurs detected the framework of 3 other similar structures that were never completed. For whatever reason, the dome system failed, and left behind is the city, a ghost that never managed to become a proper colony of the Imperium. Order the scouts to gather as many supplies as possible. Your people flooded the city like a tidal wave, filling buildings after buildings, bunkhouse after bunkhouse, and receded from its square streets just as quickly. There were plenty of useful things among the findings, including foodstuff and weapons. Send out the crew to explore the city's temple district. The temple district is situated at the heart of the city. The God Emperor statue, intricately carved from a precious crystal, is suspended beneath the dome, supported by chains of gold, and can be seen from anywhere in the colony. Inspired by the majestic sight, the expedition members set off to explore the arena with a reward vigor. Soon enough, they stumble upon an ancient weapon lying on a pedestal. weathered in sunlight. The expedition brought it back to the ship and told many tales about how the Emperor himself, who had been watching them from above, had directed the attention to the sacred relic. Drain the remaining fuel from the generating station. The city won't need them anymore. It takes several trips to deliver the massive Protheum storage tanks to your vessel. The crew grimly points out the colony was running out of fuel. Had the life support system not failed prematurely, the locals would still have perished due to lack of energy. Explore the local palace. A lavishly decorated state of the local ruler towers of a row of featureless bunkhouses. Several explorers perish from the cleverly hidden tripwires in the courtyard, but after losing their companions, the team easily disarmed the remaining traps in the estate. Anything of value has been promptly delivered to the rogue trader vessel. The Lord Captain has even given an exquisite sword found in his secret cache, and one belonged to the mansion owner. The magnetic storm raging above the planet blurs the gaze of Ogre arrays. Only truly powerful diviner machines may see through the current of magnetic fluctuation in the blessed vigil and discover the mysteries of the Emperor-forsaken planet. The rogue trader has decided to leave this unwelcoming world. Maybe he'll return here one day. Permission to report, Lord Captain. I received a message about strange behaviors in Central Ship System. All decks report the uncontrollable opening and closing of doors, gates and airlocks. They behave erratically and do not obey the operation commands. Regrettably, this has led to casualties among the crew. Deck priests have explained that these phenomena are being caused by the machine spirit irresistibly and have sent hours chanting little to soothe their anger. Unfortunately, many crew members were badly injured before the brakes could stabilize the system. Inside the containers are the remnants of stones and frescoes depicting a black spot surrounded by structures of some sort.
Duty prevails.
Barely noticeable words, shaking handwriting reads, "Touch the darkness, and darkness will accept you." The darkness swirls beneath your feet, a void of implementable gloom. You do not hear a single sound from the depths of the pit, no wailing wind or rustle of dust. Lean over to stretch your hand into the darkness. At the edge of your consciousness, you sense something slimy and intangible answering your invitation for contact. It seeps into your thoughts, tasting your emotions. Surprise and curiosity envelops you, but the feelings are not your own. Dominate the entity. You feel your way to the barely tangible edges of the entity consciousness, separate it from yourself, and squeeze it until it is reduced to the size of a bead. The entity trembles, trying to break free of your mental grasps. Surprise, rage, elation, and fear replace one another. After a wave, the entity stabilizes, but the moment you loosen your grip, it escapes, leaving behind a piece of itself inside your mind.
This master-crafted patella augment is not fit for a servitor.
Operation successful. My success is an irrefutable certainty. Acquisition is possible.
I better myself through my service.
The surface is covered in countless scratches, and you can discern some logic in them. Someone began to scratch in the thing's symbol, but they defaced them, adding extra marks and lines.
Do I detect doubt in your voice?
A report show on your personal concave screen an old ship towering the ancestral sextant, a cargo ship belonging to one of the Footfall's wealthiest traders. It looks like the pirates have bitten off more than they can chew, and you have now been forced to drag the ship to a more secluded place where they can plunder it undisturbedly. Attack 'em. As soon as you see the escort ship charge into battle at once, while the captive sextant power up its warp engines. Unless you interrupt the preparation for the jump, the cargo ship will forever vanish beyond the veil of Immaterium, along with all the riches it is carrying. Send all available forces to intercept the destroyer sextant. Don't let it get away.
The throne protects the faithful.
Go first.
ravenous.
falters. Brace for impact.
So many of them.
All clear. Congratulations, Lord Captain.
Look, Captain, I hasten to report the disturbing news brought to me by machine spirit ship. The matter is extremely delicate and concerns Lady Cassia. You see, since her first day aboard, her presence has been disturbing the crew way of life. If you'll allow, I have prepared a detailed report. Cassia is an honored guest of the Void ship, and the Voidson must come to terms with all their oddities and caprices. And for those who cannot, lashes to everyone. As the Lord Captain sees fit, Victus is silent for a while, but the crackle of the box reveals she's connected. Concerning the report, yeah, go on. The first incident occurred immediately after our departure from Iraq 5. The Lady Navigator chastised one of the ship's runners, after which he went to his living quarters, killed his family, and then shot himself. The second incident was noted while traversing the warp. The Lady Navigator gave the pilots the wrong instruction and the voyage was thrown off course for a matter of minutes, but this was enough for the forces of Materium to anger the machine spirits enough for them to stand on fire and sail its way. After that, officer living near the Lady Navigator's quarters began to express extreme emotion, hysteria, apathy, euphoria, rage, disquiet, determination to crew morale and performance. The last incident was recorded in the footfall. Around 100 living birds were delivered on board during our stay on footfall. Each bird caused a hefty sum, but I have failed to discover their purpose and subsequent fate. I was also told about the conflict between Lady Navigator and the Seneschal. Alas, with no details. If you like, can ask Master Versailles directly. If I may, Lord Captain, the Lady Navigator's state of mind worries me. She is self-contained and does not mesh with the crew at all, which is why everyone avoids her. Even senior officers can be superstitious. I feel that only you are able in position to talk to her on an equal footing and improve the situation, for the sake of the safety and Lady Cassia herself. Lord Captain, I bring dire news. A feud has broken out between the clans and maintains the Void Shiver race. Rumors has it that the Lady Theodora was seen on the lower decks and saw one of the families called for a rebellion against the usurper of the Void Ship. That is you. So far no one believes they mad tales, but the rest has begun at the fringes of the compartments. The ships and forces are ready to eliminate the instigators, pacify the entire void shield crew. The decision is yours. Pacify the entire void shield crew. Those who succumb to the provocation of the unruly are known as guilty. Now let's see to it go, Captain. Lord Captain, according to the telemetry, the parameters of the system match those of Telchius Eclipson, home to the Agri-World Janus and belongs to the Von Valensis dynasty. We have received a Vox message from the planet. The Agri-World Governor officially welcomed the rock trader and reports that she has begun preparation for the formal reception to celebrate the arrival of the planet's sovereign. Your subjects are looking forward to your visit.
Words cannot describe how boring the bridge is without our stimulating conversations.
I have heard rumors that you are not getting along with the crew. Panic flashes in her ruby eyes and her heart starts beating a little faster while your hands go cold.
Not here. I'm begging you. Aren't noblemen supposed to discuss such things away from the servants?
Let's go to my study then. No one will disturb us there.
Then lead the way, and I will answer all of your questions.
What is it you wanted to talk about, Lord Captain? I have nothing to say to you unfounded accusation about my conflicts with the new crew. I cannot recall my having a single quarrel with any of you people during the entire time aboard. The messenger in you rebuked, butchered his own family and then killed himself. I haven't rebuked a single errand boy on the ship. Cassia pondered his for a moment. I think I remember. A kind young man with a shy smile and skillful fingers, with too much rotten ochre on his shoulders. I grew tired of the disgusting color and advised him to lighten his burden by casting the weight off his shoulder. He did not come the next day, or ever again. During the warp voyage, he gave the wrong orders, which led to a vessel shifting of course and service bay being destroyed. I was something in the warp, something vast, predatory, shimmering with indescribable colors. It came from nowhere and astray that the ship, with a hundred of hungry eyes, right here in our path. I decided to change the course while it was still possible, but did not want to sow panic. Would it have been better to tell the crew we are heading straight into a monster gaping maw? The officer are reluctant to be quartered next to your chambers because of the constant emotional outbursts it causes them. Some even maim themselves and others. I already told you I cannot control my abilities. What else do you want from me? Will I be assigned as a pariah chaperone, or will you put me in suppressing shackles? Would you mind telling me why you need 100 species of bird and what you use them for? Admittedly, I am a loss myself. The day we arrive at Footfall, I send a request to the ship quartermaster and ask him to get me a songbird, but he never asked for qualification, and shortly before we left, I had a countless number of cages delivered to me, all wrapped in bright red panic with flickering tins of fear. There was a bird in every one. I was so excited I thought I would have 100 friends instead of just one. They were squeaking so piteously I let the poor things out. I even fed them my breakfast and dinner, but the stupid birds would not stop chittering even after bedtime. They were dashing about the room, smacking me in the face with the wings and the facing. I became angry and suddenly they started pecking at each other's eyes and attacking me. Then I became afraid and they fell over dead. I do not think I want to keep pets anymore. Will you share your thoughts with me? Everyone Everyone who has dared to slander you will be punished. There is nothing perishable about your actions. Thank you, Lord Captain. I hope you people won't soon forget the coming lesson of humility. They stinging barks will help to remind them. Very well, since we are done with this misunderstanding, I would like to change the subject. I would only be fair for me to ask you 3 questions now, wouldn't it? Cassia hesitated and continues in a less confident tone. Do not mistake me, I'm not going to accuse you of anything. It's just that you are the most worthy interlocutor on the entire ship, and you are always so busy. What do you want to ask? I read a treatise by Pius D. Mobius very recently and claimed that subject would never believe the new ruler was better than the older one unless the old one had been a tyrant. No matter the circumstances, the low-born rabble become deluded about the prospects and rebel in favor of the base desires. What do you make of that? Your interpretation of Your interpretation of classical texts is not entirely correct. If the subject have grown accustomed to the ruling house, all the sovereign must do is refrain from breaching long-standing tradition, adjust unwanted laws as gradually as you would shift the bed of a flooded river, and no one will ever take your power from you. Cassia thinks for a moment and then smiles. Indeed, I was not wrong about your merits or your abilities to hold a conversation. I hope my second question does not confound you either. According to the 20 tomes penned by the preacher Ositach Isfan, the forgotten mercy and cruelty go through the world hand in hand, but people flock only to one pan of the scales. Would you rather inspire fear in your followers, or be magnanimous and choose awe? I am not afraid of acquiring a reputation for ruthlessness. I would rather crush a rebellion than condone one. Is that not the great mercy in the end? There is so much power in your words, power that make me want to join you. I understand now why your subjects are eager to follow you. I admit I was afraid we were too different, and yet you helped me realize that I can be candid with you. Continue. I must confess that sometimes I can hardly bear the burden of the house has placed upon me. I feel I'm not doing my best. Tell me how you, heir to the Protectorate, can bear the responsibility for billions of lives day after day and not stoop under all the weight. The inner turmoil is clouding your mind. My protectorate, my subject, my title are mere resources that I'm using solely for my own ends. Thank you for your patience, Nethys. You are helping me to see the world in different colors. A novel experience for me. Our conversation holds a special place in my heart. Allow me to bid you farewell for now. I'm heading back to my chambers to consider today's conversation. Lady Thriller lulled frozen words. I never did discover the reason why, but the Lord Captain never missed a chance to visit such a planet, even on the slightest pretext. A lavishly dressed noblewoman in an open silk gown watches you with an expectant air, but then gracefully bows her head. Gem-encrusted implants protrude from their arms and neck. I welcome you on behalf of the noble Hans Viat ad Aram. My name is Vistenza Janus Viat ab Abram av Coronus. By the grace of the Emperor and the will of the rogue trader Theodora von Valentius, I serve as planetary governor and the imperial commander-in-chief of this world. Vistenza Viat raises her head slightly. Vistenza Viat turns to Abelard. Greetings to you, noble Werstein. It has been years since your last visit to Janus. I'm glad to see you again. It is a good sign when a rogue trader seneschal does not visit a subject planet for a long time. Is that correct, Lady Weird? What? It means the governor is taking care of all matters that there is no need for the seneschal to interfere. Vistenza lets out a musical laugh. I hear praise in those words, and I thank you for them. She turns once again to you. In truth, your arrival in the place of the esteemed Lady von Valentius is quite unexpected. Theodora von Valencia is dead. I am now the head of the dynasty. Such tragic news. I will see to it that the planet observes a month of mourning.
Boyanas!
Anathema observed. Commencing purgation protocol.
Brace yourself.
If I may?
I won't object to it. Naturally. I won't go down easy.
Victory is imminent. I will do my duty.
I am a navigator, not a servitor. Me? Another fellow painted black.
Request approved. Heavy is the tread of his faithful.
Get to the heretics! I'm done with this one. But of course, Lord Captain. I won't do that.
Guided by faith! I'll do it. As the Emperor commands, I act. Doubt is for the weak. This is why I was chosen. As the Emperor commands, I act. I'll do it.
I've seen worse battles than this in my time. Reduced to dust. It will be done. Indeed.
High momentum.
just a minor setback.
Step aside. The navigator is coming. Do not dare ask. Isn't this a job for the serfs? I'm afraid not. I'm not accustomed to being ordered around. Isn't this a job for the serfs? I'll show you why navigators are feared! If I may...
My vow is to insignificant value.
For the throne's glory, holy terror, smite your enemies. Let's see to it. Nothing stands against me. Naturally.
Rejoice in battle! As the Emperor commands, I act. Faith without deed is worthless. You, my Emperor! As the Emperor commands, I act. Doubt is for the weak.
At your beck and call. I took care of this one. It will be done. Ha-ha! An exemplary strike. My ears are ringing. Time to prove my mettle.
Be careful not to cross my gaze. Isn't this a job for the serfs? I am a navigator, not a servitor. Me? If you insist, Lord Captain.
As the tactical imperative dictates, the scriptural prognosis is favorable. Messiah knows all, comprehends all. My competencies are not that universal.
Let's see to it. For the throne's glory. Let's see to it. I feel the power surging.
Deliver us!
Each strike is a prayer. As the Emperor commands, I act. God Emperor, move through me. Be the fire in my heart.
My place is at the fore. Victory is imminent. I will do my duty.
Emperor, give me strength. I'm not accustomed to being ordered around.
Indeed. At your beck and call.
Your Lordship, Emperor preserve us. Are you alright? Do not fret, layperson. We have grown used to outrageous slovenliness among the wardens of every world we visit. Pascal Vox's quiet face is booming with fury by the end of this remark. Pale grayness is starting this peasant like a noose. His words are laden with fear of our well-being, and yet he fears for his own even more. We should be flagged by such a negligence. Who were they and how did they gain entry to the government of the states? No. You incompetent, inept, useless piece of knock shit. What is the point of you if I can be attacked on the government's own estate? officer drops dead before the shocked eyes of witnesses who look up at you in horror. Get out of my sight, I'll find my own way there.
I serve the Golden Throne.
Locomotives are fully operational.
Most effective representatives of the local flora are assembled in the flower bed. Unfamiliar fruits are ripening on the carefully plotted plants.
Light of terror, guide our way.
According to spy, a hastily turned into watchtower in a search sign of a turbulent situation in the upper world.
Look, over there.
The fountain is an expensive toy for the nobility. Pure water is currently bubbling from it, but additional pipes only indicate the presence of separate siphons for sparkling wine and other beverages. The chapel is built of luxurious materials, but the holy place looks half abandoned. You cannot smell any burnt incense in the air. You see no seal of cleansing on the door, and you hear no prayers, no human voices or vox recordings.
How can one find the right way without his
The
light?
place seemed like it was recently disturbed. Dust has been swept from the stones. There is some unidentified dirt between the cracks, and you notice several thin crouches on the surface. That's great.
Blessed be the road that we take.
This ocular implant was a worthwhile investment.
My knowledge has its limits.
What is it?
The machine god grants me insight.
Chips of ropes and shackles on the end can be seen in the water. Something white is also visible through the glimmer, a fragment of bone with marks made by sharp teeth. The ivy covering the artery gives off a delicate heady fragrance, although you do not see anything.
Anything worthy of my attention.
The otherworldly silence reigned under the arches of the gazebo, perhaps the sound body generators mounted in the dome.
This explorator is blessed with
The world is full
multifunctionality.
of colors I have never seen before.
The sooner we start.
The governor's palace is opulent. The gift finishes and plaster are uploaded regularly and frequently, it seems. Too frequently even for a building situated on the coast.
Calculating optimal route.
The light of terror shines for us. Onward!
Executing request.
Upon seeing it, the guard at the door lets out a frightened yelp and doubles over into a low bow. Your Lordship, the most Honourable Netis von Valentius, the Governor is awaiting you in her office, where she is protected by walls and guards. Would you prefer to meet with her alone or with your entourage? My entourage will accompany me in my meetings with the Governor. Vistenza Januziat Abram of Coronus is furiously swiping at the data slate, issuing commands into the gilded vox. Upon seeing you, she hurried puts away her device, smooths her skirt, and drops into a deep courtesy. Your Lordship, accept my abject apologies for the reprehensible stunt that spoils the reception. Even in my worst nightmare, I could never have imagined. I don't care about your apologies. I could have been killed. The Governor, trembling all over, bows her head even lower. I assure you, Your Lordship, I would never. I beg you, give me the chance to prove my loyalty and explain myself. Vistenza's companion standing beside her also bends into a slavish bow while reaching out to offer a reassuring touch to Vicenza's hand, who immediately draws it away. One of your wardens helped us in battle. A superb shot. Who was it? He must be referring to Iliet, our chief ally in a struggle against the rebels. I have turned a blind eye to her horrific mutations given the undoubted advantages she brings. You see, Iliet comes from the local degenerate stock of this world and knows Janus like back of the hand, so she has provided several leads as to where we can find bases and secret storehouses. Although I admit that at times I am tempted to send her away from the estate, her naturalness means that speaking with her always leaves me feeling uneasy. Such a gaunt and feminine figure, and so tall. Henrik's expression shifts. Do I hear you correctly, Governor Wyatt? You have a mysterious mutant on your estate at the very moment, one of prodigious height, slight build, and with a supernatural talent of shooting? Did the arrival of this helper never give you pause for thought? Allow me to make myself clear to refuse Iliad's help in our circumstances would have been incredibly harsh. Yes, mutants are creatures abhorrent to the Emperor, and they should be exterminated, but sometimes humanity makes exceptions for those who can serve the Imperium. I am not concerned that your aide is a mutant. I am far more concerned that she may be nothing of the sort. Henrik turns to you. Nethys, I would like to meet this helper of the Governor Wyatt without delay, out of professional interest. If you wish to speak to Irid, you will find her outside in the augury, most likely by the gazebo. She prefers to keep her distance from others. What is happening on the planet? Several months ago, a uprising broke out on Janus. I was even notified at first. I was not even notified at first. Grippling worms are for wardens to worry about. Alas, I only learned of what was happening after the miscreants began targeting noble families. Vistenza shook her head, and there became apparent that what the Administratum's account had referred to as unrest were in fact organized attacks on the infrastructure and society leaders. They have already brought 13 agri-complexes to a halt and have now moved to an assassination attempt. My wardens are dodgily tracking down the rebels, but their leaders are slipping from our grasp yet again. Can Janus fulfill its foodstuff supplies under current conditions? I risk angering you, Your Lordship, but this is nothing compared to the shamelessly deceiving you. Let us consider the situation dispassionately. Even the most talented logistics experts of the Administratum are unable to guarantee stable ties when shuttles are wary of landing at the spaceport, and the terrified peasants are indulging a dangerous minority with their ranks. Until the usual orders of things is restored to Janus, any trade is nigh impossible. Considering what has occurred, your visit is a true blessing. You see, Janus does not have its own fleet. We could organize a planet-wide search if we had ships of our disposal. Ships like yours, Your Lordship. Perhaps you will find a way to support your subject in the hour of need. I'm sure even approximate coordinates would be sufficient to have a ground forces and ship crew work together to hunt down the enemy. I'm not interested in your excuses. Dealing with the rebels is your direct responsibility. Of course, you are entitled to insist that the conflict be resolved locally. According to my council report, perhaps in a couple of years, when the security services have been re-equipped and surveillance void station has been established on the orbit, we can attack notwithstanding procedure enough to satisfy the tithe collectors with sensor sites. No doubt this answer displeases you. I do not understand, but with our resources, it is most likely scenario. You want me to go over and catch some rebels for you? Not quite, your lordship. My wardens are crushing the lowly saboteurs across the planet relentlessly, Netis, but I will be for naught unless they nest or destroy. Someone is controlling the riffraff who are perishing in thoughtfulness escapades such as the one we witnessed today, and that someone could be hiding anywhere. Oh, anyway, you have resources and capabilities at your disposal, the likes of which I could never hope to possess. Your ship alone is an equal asset for tracking down criminals beyond the borders of my influence. I will hunt down the seeds of rebellion and heresy on this planet and burn them to ash. Concern appears in Vasil's eyes. The resolve and valor of the Von Valencius dynasty know no bounds. I am immeasurably thankful for your help. If any of those who attacked the estate has survived, then perhaps they could have been a valuable source of information, but you made an example of them for the rest of the foolish rabble. Vistenza glances at the Vox. Incidentally, I did overhear the wardens talking about some kind of stranger in the area. Besides that, we still do not know who led those reprobate into the estate. The person who did it might also know something. I, as well as my retinue, are at your service. My secretary is checking the staff as we speak and removing all traces of the attack from the estate. An esteemed Magos, who is responsible for agromantic efforts on the planet, is also here. He happened to be visiting this week to deliver his personal report. And of course, there is my aide in the war against the rebels, Irliet. I have no doubt she will be delighted to share her knowledge of Janus with your lordship. Food for station is on the verge of starvation. Can Janus supply the people there with provisions? Yes or no, your lordship. If the question is, can such an expansive and fertile world as this one feed few hundred void rats? Of course it can. We lose more precious to gnawing pests every cycle than those on footfall could eat in their entire lives. But can the ship provide footfall? Not a chance. Can the ship set provide any cargo shuttle that leaves the surface will be a target for attack. The rebels will not hesitate to bring it down, sending flaming debris over the capital. Our silos could become target for sabotage, food could be poisoned or mined. Our logistic of transporting supplies to footfall will only be possible once the uprising hub is completely crushed. But who is this person standing next to you? One of my ladies in waiting, Amelia. Amelia performs secretarial duties and helps me to remain in constant contact with those families who are most responsible for the productivity and prosperity of Janus. I trust my advisor implicitly, and over time Amelia had become not merely a faithful companion, but almost my shadow. Losing her would be like losing my right hand. Vistenza laughs and gives Amelia an encouraging nod. Amelia drops into a low courtesy. To bathe in the light of your greatness is a true honor, Rock Trader. Tell me about Janus. Vistenza leans forward. Janus is a remarkable word, both in terms of vast potential and in terms of the work that was carried out to transform it into the agri-world. House Riat has ruled Janus for many generations, and each new governor has witnessed fail contributed to the planet's taming. This world was once a wild planet full of xenobeasts and utterly unsuitable for growing anything. To these days, despite our best effort, Janus regularly rebels against us. Earthquakes, tsunamis, the emergence of new pests and weeds that invade the arable lands. Sometimes I cannot help but think that this world is endowed with consciousness, the consciousness of a capricious and stubborn child who likes to spoil everything that we have achieved. What do we grow on here? Mainly Helican flint, corn and red turnips. Apart from that, in the Southern Hemisphere, we have set aside vast tracts of land for the Grok's population. And of course, I cannot fail to mention the several thousand acres of tilted land given over to cultivating fermentable fruit for personal use and limited export. Even for agri-world in the back of Beyond, this place is really a dump. What do you all do here for fun when you have free time, that is? If you are asking about those of our circle, then let me assure you there is enough noble families in the world to keep boredom at bay. I frequently host guests, your lordship, and my servants arrange suitable entertainments, from parlor concert to private execution of traitors who break imperial law.
What deeds await us?
There is a life lesson every young man should learn. Keep your backside off any throne you have not rightfully earned or irrevocably won.
Iliad Lenevus greets you, Elantark.
Regrettable news. This creature is not a mutant as the locals assumed, but a representative of the Eldari, one of the myriad enemies of humanity. You should not trust this creature. Do not communicate with it any longer than necessary.
There is no need to mutilate my language, monkey. I speak yours well enough to converse with Elantark without a translator. And since you have discerned my path, I will be direct in my speech. My soul is nothing kin to yours. Your kind call us Xenos, as if we are all as one. I came here to protect the Lilithon by assisting the Governor against her enemies. Will you hear me, or be blinded to sense by your precepts?
I don't converse with the enemy of humanity.